Friends, myself Sravan Kumar, Mundadugu Praja Party founder president. I'm very happy to share my thoughts through this video. You people are really supporting a lot in taking our party ideology into the public. Friends, today I would like to share my thought of what is the democracy and the role of elected government in preserving the public money. Friends, we being a people of this country is governed by Constitution of India. The Constitution says the elected government is responsible for the people's welfare. The people who are part and parcel of the Constitution elects the government with a fond hope of good administration, ruling, a protective life. As all of you know that the fundamental principles and fundamental rights and all, it is the responsibility of the state to follow it. But what the elected governments are doing actually, and what the Constitution says, these are the two aspects we must distinguish. Friends, the government is responsible for the public money. The government is responsible for the implementation of the social welfare schemes. The government is responsible for the lives of the people. Life is not only the life with dignity. These are the three principles which are based in the Constitution of India. But what the elected people are doing now, in fact, the elected leaders are not rulers. They are the servants to the people. But unfortunately, what is happening, the people who are elected the leaders are not feeling so. They are feeling that they are the monarchs of Constitution. Whatever they implement, whatever they intended to do to the people in the name of social welfare schemes, in the name of legislation, the people are here to oblige. The intention of the legislation, every legislation is pure in nature. But what is happening inside? Dear friends, this is a high time to think each and everyone that the government, elected government, is responsible for the public property. Lands, sand, mining, granite, these all are the public resources. The public resources is not the property of the government, it's a property of the public. Because the elected government will be in power for 5 years, and afterwards the power will change to, or power will be exchanged to some other party which gain the people trust. But the government is the custodian of the public property during the tenure. But what is happening actually, you and me, being intellectual people, should understand. Take an example of Andhra Pradesh. The Andhra Pradesh was a new state. 2014, June 2nd, it was emerged as a separate state. And the 13 district consists of new Andhra Pradesh state. Is lack of employment, is lack of infrastructure, is lack of prestigious institutions as claimed by the government. Because there is a revenue surplus also. Because in order to strengthen all the instrumental organizations, so the Andhra Pradesh needs to be pushed out in some areas. Taking the advantage of this situation, Now the present government, state of Andhra Pradesh government, has designed various policies, the company establishment policies, and the incentives to the industries, as well land allocation policy. These are the policies which are designed by state government in order to facilitate the institutions and factories or companies uh, to establish industries in state of Andhra Pradesh in order to develop, in order to generate the employment. Because the Andhra Pradesh is a newborn state and we don't have any sort of employment at par with the other states. So still Andhra Pradesh is called undeveloped state. Now it is high time to take over the government, to take it forward the state of Andhra Pradesh in certain areas. With a fond hope, with a vision, the state of Andhra Pradesh has designed various policies. One of the policies is industrial incentive policy. In order to invite companies to establish in the state of Andhra Pradesh, the government have designed a most flexible policy, which is paradise to the many companies, and single desk policy. Within 24 hours, you will get all approvals from the authorities so that you can establish industry over here. The motive of the policy is to generate employment. But what is happening? The state of Andhra Pradesh has secured 3 lakh acres of land bank. The 3 lakh acres were secured in order to give to the industries. In that, through APIAC, the state of Andhra Pradesh has given 14,900 acres of lands to various industries. In that, some of the prestigious projects were also there: Kia Motors, SCL Company, Indian Oil Corporation, Google. These are the major prestigious projects, which is good to the state of Andhra Pradesh. But approximately 2,000 odd companies got the land of 14,900 acres of land, out of which 1,500 companies are shell companies, only existed on papers. Because the policy of AP, which clearly says the company intended to get the land in Andhra Pradesh, they must have an existing company. It's not like that a company which registered today by spending 5,000 or 10,000 rupees before registering authority and can come and give an application to the state government and get the land worth of rupees 100 crores to 1 crore. Because if you want to allocate a land to a company, the company must be in existence, and the company must have a balance sheet of 3 years, and the company must be in a particular field, in a relevant field. Before getting a land, the companies must be given a declaration that they have this much of employment, their finance status is like that, and they are in relevant field. So after satisfaction of all these relevant fields, the government is under obligation to allocate the land by considering all this previous background of a particular company. But this is a rule the government, AP government, grossly violated, and then allocate the companies to the paper companies. Out of 2,000 companies, 1,500 companies are paper companies, are shell companies, which are no more in existence. Because the kith and kin of followers of politicians, they came with a proposal by simply registration, and they given a false declaration that they have this much of employment and they are doing business from so and so year onwards, and they have a balance sheet of and the company is very prosperity company, and they can, if the government allocate the land, they can establish a land a unit in the particular sense. But bypassing all these rules, the government of AP allocated thousands of acres to the shell and paper companies, which are no more in existence. This is how the Mundadugu Praja Party are taking a lead. As per the government policy, the company who seeks the land must have an existing company, and the company must have a generation of employment, and the company must possess the financial status also. But without having any piece of paper, the all shell companies were rolled out in state of AP, and a crores worth of rupees land were being allocated to lakhs. This is a highly deprecated, and we should not encourage this kind of practice, because the government is feeling that it's the government land and we can give the land to anybody at their whims and fancies, and no one can dare enough to even question the government policy also. This is the motto, this is the only motto of the AP government. This is how the Mundadugu Praja Party has strongly objected and strongly took a defense that the companies which are no more in existence got the lands, and it is a it's a gross looting of a public exchequer. This is how Mundadugu Praja Party procured all the evidences and dig the what you call that, the kind of dishonest the AP government is committed, and file public interest litigation before Honorable High Court. And fortunately the case was numbered, and on 3 occasions Honorable High Court was extensively heard my arguments, and myself is the petitioner in the particular case, and we produced all the relevant records before Honorable High Court, and we tried to prove the cheating of AP government before Honorable High Court. Now the case is pending for results. The government also defended the case. The Honorable High Court was still, the orders were reserved. I don't know why the Honorable High Court was kept the case for reserved for orders for so long days, because the case is supposed to dispose within 2 or 3 days, but I don't know the reason. The case is still pending before Honorable High Court, reserved for orders. But I don't want to comment on the subject of particular matter. But the thing is, the facts should be placed before people of this country. The government, elected government, is responsible to public property, and they should not allocate the lands to their kith and kin and followers at their whims and fancies. It's the public property. It's the property of our future. Our future generation will certainly question us, and we people are the responsible for our property. It's not the government property. Therefore, my dear friends, I am urging through this video, so please question the government. I am not against to give lands to real entrepreneurs. A real entrepreneur should come to the AP and should establish an industries, and they should generate employment. And if employment was generated, that my brothers and sisters will get the job. But where is that? As per the government statistics, dear friends, out of 100 companies, 94 companies were not established their units in the particular census, respective census, as they agreed in the undertaking in the detailed project report. This is how the government is cheating. This is how the government is acting. When the government is allocating lands to the paper companies, which are no more in existence, which doesn't have any kind of financial support, financial strength, then how they could establish a land, factories or units in the particular land? Because a company which is having 25,000 capital are being allocated 100 crores of land to establish a unit with a proposed investment of 200 crores, how the company will establish a project? This is the basic fundamental violation of allocation of the land. Therefore, people don't think that it's the public property, and we don't care about the public property. It is our property, our future generation property, and we are responsible for the future generation. And tomorrow future generation will question us why you people are silent when the thousands of acres are being alienated to the unauthorized person, which are no more entitled to get the land. I am urging through this video, dear friends, please support Mundadugu Praja Party fighting, and we are fighting for the people cause. We are fighting for the future generation class. We are fighting for the preservation and protection of the public properties, and the unauthorized corrupt politicians are looting our public exchequer, and therefore thousands of acres of the land are being allocated to unauthorized person. Because of this unauthorized allocation, they are earning crores and crores of rupees, our money. Therefore, I request everyone who are conscious citizen of this country, please support Mundadugu Praja Party fight against the government. We being a common people are really fighting against the government with guts. We don't have enough money to fight, we don't have enough support to fight, we don't have enough political power to support, but in spite of that, with our ideology, with our strong desire to fight against the corruption, we are fighting. Let us stood behind us. If you feel that this is the real cause which save the nation, which save the Andhra Pradesh, which saves the exchequer of the Andhra Pradesh, please support us, friends. Because we are helpless people. We are urging your support in doing good to the people. Unless you and me now raised our voice, the corrupt politicians will loot the public money from tooth and nail, and they will enhance their personal properties. This is how I wanted to share all of you, and thank you very much for your valuable time spending to watch my video. And I request all of you, please support Mundadugu Praja Party views. If you are really feels that it is a genuine reason, please extend your support. Thank you so much, friends.